Good morning, people. Oh dear. How are we doing? Lovely to see you all. It's the third, I think, excuse me. Third or fourth of third of April 2022. Good morning to you all. I'm going to be talking to you today about some stuff, some challenges that you can make as people. And I hope you do. I hope you jump on the bandwagon and decide that enough's enough and that we need, as a people, as a country, to pull together. A1000, hello, darling. Nice to see you. Claps his hands. How are we doing? Not sure what the other one is. It a boxing glove? Is it? Sorry, my voice is going to go up and down today. A bit like Mickey Rooney or Roger De Courcy. Roger De Courcy. Do you remember Roger De Nookie Bear? My friend was playing golf with Roger De Courcy a few days ago, and he said he's as tight as a nut chuff. He said he can peel an orange in his pocket with one hand. He said he is frugal. But there you go. Fabi, how you doing, darling? Long time no see. Going to be talking about Remedy today, where you can go and get your files to challenge all your council taxes and many other things, I guess, you can be doing with these files. It's about time that we stood up. It's about time we said enough's enough. Hello, KT. Remember me from Real Change? Yes, I did. Did we meet? Was you at Leeds? Excuse me. We've had a little bit of a flu. And it's really interesting because, like, I've said to some of my mates, oh, you've got the old thing, and then you've got the Rona. I'm like, no, it still just feels like an influenza. And me and the missus have both had it, and we're coming out the other side now. But we've just dosed ourselves up. That's all. I ain't taken none of that. I ain't been down to doctors. I think the doctors, you're playing Russian roulette nowadays. All they want to do is pump drugs into you. That's it. They don't. If you went to the doctor today and said, "Doc, I've got a sore willy," he ain't even going to look at it. He's just going to say, well, what's the problem? So I keep playing with it. And he's just going to print you off a prescription, or it's going to print you off a prescription and say, take that to the pharmacy and pay you £10. And that's it. That's all you're getting. Frankie, baby, how you doing, darling? January 2016, Lee Jesse. My word, you got a fabulous memory. Was it 2016? Blimey, that's some time ago. Did we have a cuddle? That's the thing. Did we have a cuddle? Yeah, it's all about the cash. It is. It is. There was someone shared a post on Facebook yesterday about these energy companies. There's a fabulous group on Facebook. A young lady called Gemma has started this. And there's one guy on there yesterday telling that his energy bills, gas and electric combined, I don't know what he's running, some Ferrari or a mansion, has gone up to £1,700 a month. That's 12 grand a year. I've got another lady, looks like she's in a council flat or something, and her kid's in bed with rosy cheeks and a milk bottle, all snugged under because she can't turn her heating on because she just can't afford it. She just can't afford it. There's energy companies out there now. Some people are spending almost £20 a day on electric. It's disgusting. And what does the Queen do? Nothing. She just sits back and laps all this up, doesn't she? She must love the fact that her people are being terrorised. And we are her people because she is supposed to be the head sovereign of this country. And I don't know what fucking God she works for, but it certainly ain't the God of the light, that's for sure. It's really not. Carol Georgina, hello, darling. Fabi, hello, sweetheart. Nice to see you. A1000. Katie says, hello, Carol. How you doing? So, yeah, and then another friend of mine has actually been out and bought some Calagas stove heaters to cook food on and a load of candles, and has pulled the plug on the electric and the gas and just turned them off. Ain't having it. Ain't using it. My goodness. My goodness. I'm telling you now, right? Look, if you're dodging the bullet, fair play to you. Kudos to you. If you're dodging the bullet right now of these, and look at, since we've had this pandemic situation started, I've got a little teapot heater there, which I use every now and again. Look at, since the beginning, you've had Your food increases, you've had your energy bills increases, you've had your council tax increases, you've had your mortgage company increases, you've had your income tax increases, and there's supposed to be a pandemic on. There's supposed to be this worldwide killing disease. So, isn't it lovely that you've got such a loving government, isn't it? And it such a loving government that don't turn around and stand for morality. And it's such a shame that you've got nobody, I repeat, nobody in these positions that actually got any morality about them. None at all. Boris Johnson's all about the money. Priti Patel, Rishi Sunak, they're all about the money. They couldn't care less for you guys. Listen, if you drop dead today, are they going to bother having any solemn thoughts? None at all. None at all. But all of what's since this time period started, everyone's go, I can't work, I'm on furlough. Or furlong, as I used to call it. I thought it was going to the horse races when I first heard about it. But just look, everyone's supposed to be falling dead. There's this killer thing flying around the country. Everyone's running out and getting their two things, their little snake oils in their arms and stuff. And I just wonder what's going on. Are you going to be able to afford your gas and electric? Are you going to be able to afford your mortgage? If you are, God bless you. But you're just dodging the bullet right now, because I'm telling you now, it's coming for you. Andy Charger cycled past yesterday. He was going to give you a knock as I cycled out to the M20 to report Operation Brock for the channel. Go on, my son. I'm loving some of that, Andy. Well done. Don't pop in at the minute, son. We've both got the lurgy. Unless you want to go home with something you shouldn't have called. Do you know what I mean? When me and the missus ain't been friends so good, but we ain't run out to the doctors. I've just been out and bought a load of Lemsips and all these other bits and bobs, and we're getting through it. I'm almost back on track now, back to my normal, lively little self. So, are we going to dodge the bullets? Where's your councillors that care? Where's your compassionate councillors? Where's your compassionate politicians that are saying, well, actually, the people of this country ain't having a very nice time at the moment, so we're going to cut them some slack. And that's all you need. You don't need energy company. One guy yesterday, 12 grand a year on energy. Gas and electric. Gas, you can't touch gas. It's just in the pipeline, right? It's an intangible thing. But he's going, I don't know what to do. 12 grand a year. 12 grand. Who's running these energy companies? Who's running them? Who's letting them get away with this? Has natural gas just taken more expense to get out of the ground? No, I don't suppose it has. Why? Because all the infrastructure was already in. And we're hearing now Vladimir Putin, the big bad baddie, the Russian baddie. I don't believe what the TV and the media dispel and put out there, guys. Listen, if you're watching still the Channel 4, the BBC, and you're taking in their propaganda, I feel sorry for you. I really do feel sorry for you. If you're watching the news and you're saying, well, it's on the news, it must be true. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there. I don't overly want to discuss that. I'm hoping that by grace and virtue that you're actually now looking at alternatives, that you're actually listening to other people. Because I'm telling you now, my missus, brother-in-law and sister, they're both school teachers. One's a headmaster and the other one runs around doing Ofsted reports for all the schools in the area. Now, between them, they're probably taking in 40, 50 grand a year up in that ranking position. So let's say they're on 80, 90 grand a year before taxes. Well, by the time they got their take-home bits and bobs and they've got mortgages, young kids, teenage kids, they're going to be feeling the pinch. They're going to be feeling the pinch. I've got a mate of mine who's a train driver. He drives trains for South Eastern. And I think he's before tax about 90 grand a year. And the other day, when I was up there working at his house, I said to him, Rob, I said, why is your boiler thermostat down on 2 for your water? And he said to me, I've got to save money, Dave. I went, what? He said, my gas and electric bill's just gone from £90 a month, which is enough. It's only 30 days, remember, to £251 a month. I can't see how this is sustainable. I can't see how you people out there living in the real world are going to sustain this. I can't see Andy Charger is going to sustain all these rising costs of energies and fuel, diesel, petrol, all getting well out of hand. Personally, I see it as them trying to freeze us out. They're trying to bust us up, and they're doing it just by financial means because it's where they get their control. You must understand that the people that run these big corporations now are perverts. They're absolute perverts because they actually get off on this. They lust over you begging and writing begging letters. They lust over it. They literally, I could just imagine the CEO sitting in the office and one of the little minions comes in and says, we've got another one, Gov, right? And then he must read these sobbing letters and he must be knocking one out. That's all I'm thinking. That he must be, another one. Oh, yes, please, sir. Oh, yeah, that's how I feel. They got no compassion whatsoever. None at all. A1000 says, my energy company helped during lockdown, topped up my meets with 200 quid in advance, can do for others if people ask if urgent need. But where's that 200 quid going to get you? It's not going to get you too far, is it? And why should we live in this world and this country where we have to worry? Listen, there was a post the other day. The quickest plant that ever grows anywhere is hemp, all right? Cannabis, hemp, all the same thing. There's a guy put a picture up of an aeroplane that's been made out of hemp, stronger than steel, durable, don't rot, don't rust, don't do none of that, running on hemp oil. Every part of this aeroplane's been made by hemp, every part. And this plane's going to last for years, obviously not the engine. So you shouldn't have to worry. So the stuff that we can do with hemp, this is what I've always said, right? Since 2016, when fish-faced David Cameron looked like a slapped mackerel when the people of this country said, we've had enough with the European Union giving us one up the rear door. We're going to go it alone. And ever since 2016, we're in 2022 now, they've done everything they can to squeeze us, to make us, to be like beggars. And that's the end goal, guys. I don't know if you know this, but the end goal is to make us all beggars and make us all bow down and kowtow to the banking war that's going on right now. And believe you me, there's a banking war that's going on like no tomorrow. And they're mulling it all out through the infrastructures. They think, right, where can we hit the people the hardest the most? Oh, we'll do it through the fuel tanks. We'll do it through the fuel. We'll do it through the food. And we'll do it through their energy. And then we're going to fuck them. And that's their plan. This is their end goal, guys. Hopefully you're starting to see this. Hopefully you are really starting to see this. And that's where they hit us. That's their main plan. If they could hit us through, I don't know, whichever means, that's what they target. They target these things. And because all these big corporations in my village alone, I've seen all the little shops, the greengrocers. I've done work for the guy that used to own the greengrocers. The greengrocers gone. Why did the greengrocers go? Because the councils upped the rates, put him out of business, all done through financial means, no guns, no bullets. He went out of business. Now they've got a Sainsbury's. Well, what can Sainsbury's do? Sainsbury's can just up and up and up their prices because everything else is local, shut down, or they're scraping to survive, so they're charging extras. Got the monopoly going. And it's all about monopolisation now. Your whole food chain is monopolised by the government. Long ago, we used to share eggs and bacon and bread and vegetables. Whoever was coming together in the community would do that. There's a certain part of the country where they spend an hour a week. Each individual spends an hour a week. The ones that sign up to do this. And they go around and maintain and tend their vegetable plots. They have veggie plots outside bus shelters, train stations, every available little bit of land. They grow carrots, potatoes, all the veg they need. So when they come home of a night, they just go and grab what they want. They don't stock it all up. They don't rape it all like the toilet roll muggers, right? They just grab what they need for that day. They take it home, they cook it, and they're having a nice life. It's all organic. They're having a nice time. Hour a week, guys, an hour a week. So the point I'm trying to make is, why are we a begging bowl nation? And why are we a people that don't think outside the box? Nikola Tesla, the man that gave the Tesla coil and the world free energy, he turned around and said, I wasn't upset that they smashed me up because of my ideas. He said, I was upset that they didn't have their own ideas. in exactly the same way as I was thinking. Freedom. Give people the ability to be free. If we all created our own power, and there are the technologies out there to do that. If we all had massive glass dome buildings up and down the country where we was growing all of our fruit and veg and tropical fruits, which we could do, we could heat them for free. We would be a self-sustainable nation. We could be a nation that had the best roads. We could be a nation that was growing hemp at a rapid rate. And our industry, we were building houses out of hemp. There's a woman in France that builds houses out of hemp. Now, the system is all about scarcity. People like me are about abundance. I want abundance for everyone. I want you all to have nice lives where you're not worried about paying mortgages, where you're not worried about paying bills. Who owns it all anyway? This is the big thing. Who in the bank, who in the government is claiming to own it all? The government have never given me anything. Nothing. Never give me anything that I wasn't entitled to, that wasn't be given to me by the creator. Who are these people that say, oh, you can have that house, but you've got to pay council tax and all that? No, we never used to do things like that, guys. It's only been in the last 100 years since we've been right out of kilter. And we are out of kilter. And we're paying the price now for being so out of kilter. But where's the people of vision? Where are the people of vision? Government now growing massive cannabis farms for pharmaceutical industry so they can get the green and make it lean and make some cash. But little old you, if you're growing a plant for medicinal purposes, which you're having the oils from or whatever it is, you're eating it in salads, they want to come around and smash your back doors in. Oh, you're breaking the law. No, I'm not. It's a plant, for fuck's sake. What's the matter with you people? Are you so deranged and delirious that you can't tell the difference between a plant? It's a plant. Cannabis is a plant. Hemp's a plant. That's all it is. I don't see the fascination. How can you be breaking a law of something that is given to you in photosynthesis? We need to start our own society. We need to start something, mate. We certainly do. But if we grew, if all of our farmers got off their fat, lazy asses and just said, government, go fuck yourself. We're getting out there. We're going to plough our fields. We're going to produce loads of food. And jobs are good. Now the farmers are going to be squeezed even more this year because their red diesel's going. They're taking red diesel off the pumps. They're not going to let farmers get red diesel at 60, 70 pence a litre. They're going to be paying £1.80 a litre for their diesel. Well, guess what? Again, it all goes up. The price of crops go up. The price of food in your shops is going up. Where does it stop? Where does it all come to a crescendo where you're literally, and I'm pretty sure that most of you are watching this right now, are feeling the pinch, yeah? Because your council tax are taking this, your energy company's taking that. If you sit down and do your council tax, your energy bills a month. So if you're looking at 250 quid a month for your gas and electric and 250 quid a month for your council tax, there's 500 quid gone straight away. Without all the other bits and bobs. So listen, unless you're making an absolute fortune in this paper currency fiat system, but how long are you going to be able to do that for? That's the sustainability part of this. There's going to come a point where you are going to start to struggle. You're not going to be making them greens. You're not going to be having them nuggets in your pockets. And you're going to see everyone and the robber's dog coming in to want to lick your bits and bobs and to nick your cash out of your pocket. And they're going to get it. They're going to get it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of this scarcity. I'm sick of listening to stories where people have turned off their gas and electric meters and gone to Calagas and candles because they can't keep up with the demands. I'm sick of seeing stories like this poor little kid in a bed with a bottle of milk with rosy cheeks because it's so cold outside and she's in trying to keep warm. I'm so sick of it that this mother has to worry about that. And look at the kick-on effect. Look, what if that kid gets ill and has to go into hospital, ends up with pneumonia and stuff? I mean, I thought I grew up in a time period where we didn't have central heating. I grew up in a time period where you got up in the morning and there was ice on the windows. I can cope with that. I can cope with that lifestyle. Why? Because it bred it into me. The toughness. I'm tough. I'm not soft. I'm a toughie. The Ubuntu tribe. Yeah, I know all about Ubuntu. Yes, Rob Norris. Most people only do something when they become desperate. But they're going to become desperate this year. I've got a mate who's a train driver, 90 grand a year before tax, now worried about paying his gas and electric bill. Worried, literally worried. Turning his boys. Look at the psychological impact of that. Yeah? Him and his kids now, 3 kids have all got to have lukewarm baths and showers because he don't want to have to keep paying these and these energy companies, these bosses at the top of the energy companies, who are they? They're just limited companies. Like me, I'm just a limited company now. Yeah, this is me, Master David Paul Witcher, David Paul Witcher Limited in England, down as English. I'm at the same level as these people now. Limited liability, private limited company. I've expressed the trust, expressed the name. I'm on the same level as these Boris Johnson's Limited, Priti Patel Limited, Rishi Sunak Limited. You can't beat them, join them. Can't beat them, join them, and then spank their ass. That's what we're planning to do. We're planning to go in and spank their asses now. Now, there's a channel, Lawful Rebellion and Debts on YouTube, and you're watching me on YouTube now. If you go over to Lawful Rebellion and Debts channel, as we speak, I can show it to you if you want me to. There's a new video now that he's just put up in the last 2 days on council tax and the files, the 5-letter process, and this is bulletproof. There is no risk involved to any of you. And all we're saying to the council is, sure, you're saying we need to pay this, you pay me that. Where's the obligation? Show me the verified proof and claim of the obligation, not just your word. Listen, look at words. Apple, you know what an apple is. But the word apple needs to have substance. It needs to have something, facts and evidence and substance that you can bite into. So physically, you're holding the apple. The substance is you're taking a bite of it. It's exactly the same with these councils. Oh, no, we don't tolerate none of that. Show me the physical and material evidence that you don't have to be obliged by this. And that's where they drop a clanger. Because they can't provide the obligation. Yes, they can have their laws. They can have all their legislation. Let them have it. But where's the obligation? And you need to look up the word obligation and what it means. How are we obliged, the people, to have to lick their bits? And the other thing about it is it's a positive and negative contract because you're being put into positive performance because they're ones coming in and raping your bank accounts. They're the ones that are coming in and nicking your houses and nicking your kids when you can't pay. Where's their liability? There is none. You can't hold them responsible unless you're very clever and you take them to courts and sue them. There's no law in this country says you have to pay it. None at all. Not law. Not law. Legal, but not law. And we're a lawful nation, remember. We are a nation that's lawful, not legal. The two run, but the law is the pinnacle. So if you go over to that channel, you today can start challenging your council tax with no risk coming back at you. Just download the files from his channel onto Google Drive and job done. And we're using their laws against them. That's all. We're just using their laws against them. And I'm pretty sure that you can use them templates in other aspects, not just for council tax. You could send it to whoever, your energy company. And what you got to remember is you might not get any responses from these companies, which is fine. But you do your first letter, your second letter, your third letter. You do it all special delivery, which has got these little stickers on it from the Royal Mail. You just send all them, special delivery. And if ever the energy company, whoever it is, wants to take you to court, fine, no problem. You just send your bundle in because you've got them into a tacit agreement by their silence before you've even started. So there's no, so the court's going to get your bundle. And then if the lower courts ignore your bundle, fine, take it further up because they're denying you justice. Every man and woman has the right to justice in this land freely. We're supposed to have it freely. We're not supposed to have to pay for the law. We're not supposed to have to pay for justice. Do you with me? Yes, Jez, doing well. The councils use their bylaws. Yeah, they do. Dave, that CH is excellent. After yours, slowly, thanks to you, I'm learning. God bless you, Annette. It's lovely to see you. And well done, darling. It is. Carol Georgina, it's lovely to see you in this morning, doll. Hope you're doing well. So, this year, it's a slow burn candle. And you can watch that candle burn, but when it gets down to the bottom, it gets a bit lively, doesn't it? You know, it gets a bit hot and sticky, and you think, so what am I going to do with it? I need to put it out. And that's what's happening. It's just as you're just at home, like a little tea lighter candle. You're managing at the minute to deal with everything that this corporate government is smacking on you. All right. But that candle's going to wear down and down and down. They're going to grind you down. You're going to just burn out and you're going to get to a point, I guarantee you, where your pockets are like rabbit ears and the council saying, where's my money, bitch? Well, I haven't got any left. The energy company, the gas company, the electric company, the Sainsbury's, Lidl's out, they've had it all. I ain't got nothing left. Not our problem, they say. Not our problem. We're going to take your house. We'll take your kids. It's honestly, it's like a Gestapo. It's like a Third Reich has taken over this country. But they do have their weaknesses. Oh boy, do they have their weaknesses. And that's the ironic part about all this. This ain't the sort of country that tolerates nonsense. We don't tolerate this ill behavior by public servants for too long, because there's always this spirit that rises within every single one of us, and every generation's dealt with it differently. This particular one, we have to use our brains. We have to switch on our grey matter, and we have to do this lawfully, and we have to do it legally in their system. We have to. Got no choice. But we will beat them, and we're going to beat them. 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago, the Queen versus Robert White was in a case in Maidstone Crown Court where Judge Griffith turned round and deliberated on a jury verdict. 14 jurors, 12 or 14, 12 in the jury, isn't there? 12 in the jury, a jury of 12 because a grand jury is 24. A jury of men and women found Bob White not guilty on all counts. And the jury found two policemen from Kent, PC Belmont and PC Dunn, unlawful trespassers. That's now case law. We had a bailiff turned up to their house yesterday looking to collect 450 quid for a speeding thing. They sat outside her house for 2 hours. She got rid of them and she showed them Queen versus Robert White and said, if you carry on, you're unlawfully trespassing. And if any constable comes here and assists you, they're stepping outside their office and they're a common criminal. Here's the case law from last week to prove it. Bailiff jogged on. The bailiff situation is finished. They're finished. Bailiffs are finished. Enforcement companies are finished. They're finished because the case law, recent case law, is dictated that you still have castle doctrine, and that is you have the right to defend your own home if someone doesn't have lawful excuse to be there. If they might have a legal rambling, they might have a legal paper. Is it lawful? No. Are they breaking the law? Yes. Are they unlawful trespassers? Yes. Robert White, the Queen versus Robert White was monumental. Now, of course, Bob himself is going after the two individual police that stepped outside their office and lost all protection. The judge said, you were common criminals in that house at the time, and that uniform wasn't protecting you. They beat him up and tasered him in his own home because that's what Kent police do. They're violent thugs. And they are violent thugs. I make no bones about it. And it breaks me heart talking like this, that I have people in public office, public servitude, wherever that is, beating people, breaking people's bones, cuffing them so tight that their wrists are bleeding like they're being crucified. They've become very devilish. And they will be judged, I'm pretty sure, at some point. And that day's getting closer. The day of reckoning is getting closer. Make no mistakes about it. To no one will we sell. To no one will we deny right or justice. Absolutely right, darling. Did you see the video of the Russians burning a replica of the Tower of Babel 2 weeks ago? I did in Kolga, Russia. Yeah, I did, mate. I did. Nikola Lenivets. Sounds like a veterinary practice. Policeman stripping people naked. They've been under the illusion that they can just turn up and do what they like and jump your gates. They've jumped my fucking gates, the communist bastards, and think they can get away with it. Well, they can't. And the law says you can't. And once you warn a copper now, of course, Robert White versus the Queen, where's your warrant? Is it signed by a judge? Does it have proper authority? Is it a lawful warrant? Then no. Oh, it's on a computer. Well, I'm telling you now, that's not right. That's not proper. And if you continue to assist these people, You are now a common criminal. You lose all right and protection as this case law dictates. And if you want to jump over my fence, you might be going out in a body bag. And you're not going to have no protection under your job, under your uniform, under your warrant card, under your PEL numbers, nothing. Your collar numbers mean nothing now. Because the case law, this judge, they clapped him out of court, by the way. They clapped Judge Griffith out of court. Hey, standing ovation. No, that man would have been walking out with a boner. When you get adulation for things that you do, when you get people turn up that you've never met before, that recognise you, that give you a hug and say, oh, Dave, I've been watching you online for years. I've been walking around the centre of London and people have recognised this ugly face and said, you're Dave Witcher. Give me a hug. The feeling of their love towards me is amazing. And this judge, after being clapped out of court, will be in his chambers after, sipping his whiskey, thinking, well, we did something good today. We turned the tide of tyranny. And that's exactly what happened last week. So, whoever's writing to you for money, send them the judgment of Bob White. So you better be proper when you come. You better have a proper warrant. You better have it properly signed and sealed by a judge, justice of the peace, or a clerk of the court. None of this fake computer bullshit. That's unlawful. They're unlawful. And Kent police are now probably thinking, what the hell happened in that court case? They're the chief inspector, chief constable, who actually I've just written to and called him a petty tyrant, because that's how I roll. He must be thinking, oh, okay. So the laws of England do still apply. Now, we all do believe that we live in the UK, which is a nonsense, because I'm going to prove to you that it's a nonsense, because as you can see here, it says nationality, English, country of residence, England. Now, there's over 500 people that have done their own private limited companies now in their own names. And if you want the private limited company ID card, message me on here and I'll give you the website which you can go to get your, once you've got your limited company, you can get your own private ID. Now, whether you know this, the Queen left Buckingham Palace some time ago, and the royal family did. And they're now in Windsor Castle. Why? Well, kings and queens always used to live in castles and never palaces. And we have a strong suspicion that she knows that the people are coming back to the land. And that's why she is returned to serve her people. Because this is the Queen's, the monarchy's logo, et de Mondoir. Not the law of the merchant no more. Back to sea and back with the law of the monarch, which is where we all should be. Good to hear you, Dave. Keep speaking the truth in this mad world. Lee Bishop, lovely to see you, Dunn. Chrissy Dunn, always try to be in pairs, people. The coppers are always mob-handed. They're vicious, violent people, man. They'll be judged. Tony, got your message this morning, darling. Yeah, we're all right. How you doing, darling? 3 weeks ago, decided never to return to Buckingham Palace. They won't go back. They won't go back. Palaces are for fictions. Remember the Lion and the Unicorn, that sign up, a van hit it, and it knocked the unicorn off. And the unicorn's a mythological creature, all right? But you can clearly see the chain is on the ground on this one and not going up to the sky. The UK corporation, strangely enough, is the chain. And, of course, Parliament, Boris Johnson. If you look at their logo now, it's not got Et du Mondoir no more. They've changed it. They're thugs. Guys, you're dealing with the Fat Abbott when you're dealing with Boris Johnson. You're dealing with the criminals. You're dealing with the Fat Abbott law. You're not dealing with the Queen's law. You're dealing with the Fat Abbott, the criminals. But now we're back home with the Queen. We're back home in the land of England and down as English. And I don't have to do any professing to prove that. Companies House have done it for me. Signs, energy, and vibrations. Absolutely right. Lauren, hello, darling. Nice to see you, mate. How you doing? You all good? Same time frame as Babel. Yeah, mate. You ain't too far wrong there. So, Lawful Rebellion and Debts on YouTube. You can go and download your council tax templates, 5 letters, put it into your Google Drive, alter your bits to suit you, and get them fired in. Get the council to stand down. They will have no choice but to stand down. We've done council tax now. Council tax, if you get these documents from Lawful Rebellion and Debts, the site on YouTube, Jed, it's game over. Because then otherwise, if the councils and the last notice is a letter before action, you just file a claim in the High Courts. You've got all your evidence and your stuff already backed up. You've done. See, look, same with me, right? Let me show you. I've just recently done the energy company, right? The chief CEO of the energy company. So we've hit him, okay, 3 times, once, twice, 3 times a lady. This is a bundle. So if ever I get a court summons now with regards to the energy companies, this bundle goes in. This bundle goes in. The whole bundle. There's 3 lots there. There's three. I've got all the tracking. I've got all the special delivery stickers. I know they've got to exactly where they've got to go. So if ever the energy company, Utility Warehouse, who are demons, they are absolute demons. If they want to go to court and I ever get a court thing, that just goes in with that. And I'm pretty sure that's it. I can't see they can bounce back from what I've just sent them, because the chief CEO has agreed in tacitly that by their silence, he who stays silent loses, you see. Dr. Donald Graham, CT officer here, he was forced to resign for fiddling expenses scandal. See, it just shows, doesn't it? These people are absolute dirty fucks. 360 MPs get their expenses paid. They get their fuel allowances, their gas and electric paid by the public purse. So they don't care how much it's going up. They're not having their kids sucking milk bottles, laying in beds with big duvets around them because they can't turn the boiler on. We're going back into Dickensian times, people, whether you like it or not, whether you're brave enough to admit that, that's what's coming for you. And it won't come if you stand. It won't come if you decide to change things in your life. Now, this limited company in my name has expressed the trust. And it means that I've got limited liability. It means that I'm in England. Now, we had a court case a few months ago, and someone from the CPS come out and told everybody in the court to stop. When the magistrate said, well, why have we got to stop? I said, this one's not a custodian. This one's not in the UK. This one's in England. This individual's in England, as clearly defined on the paperwork, not a custodian of the UK no more. When you claim your name via your limited company and you make it dormant, you're not in the UK no more. You're back in England. Soup kitchens. Why have we got soup kitchens? Why have we got food banks? Why have we got people going without? Why have we got people on websites saying it's all right if you can't pay your bills, you go down the food bank? No, I don't think that's acceptable. There's no decency in that. Why have we got soup kitchens? Why have we got food banks? We've got police men and women up and down the country go to food banks. What do you think a copper takes home a year? 26 grand, 25, 26 grand? Do the math. It's 2 grand a month. They got about 2 grand a month coming in, right? Maybe a bit more, maybe. But now when these vultures turn up, oh, how's your rent? Can you pay your rent? No, I can't pay my rent. Can you pay your food bills? No, I can't pay my food bills. Can you buy the kids' school uniforms? No, I can't buy them school uniforms. We got 6 police that were told to a Liverpudlian chief constable when he was sat in this full session meeting, pontificating how wonderful they were. One of my friends turned around and said, you do know that 6 of your constables go to this particular food bank each week for their food? He didn't know what to do. He didn't know what to say. And that was 3 or 4 years ago. My mate John told with great delight to this chief constable, you do know that you've got 6 constables going to food banks. I'm telling you, I just find it's enough. We've got to stop burying our head in the sand. We've got to face this reality and we've got to hit it head on. Otherwise, Lord knows what's going to be the outcome. Lord knows how many people are going to commit suicide. The amount of people that want to just kill themselves right now, I'd hate to think, but there's no need for them to do that, you see. No need for them to do that at all. If you go to the Hornsey Wood Academy, Truth Talks on YouTube, and start with podcast number 1, I think we're up to about 180 now, you'll learn how to do your limited company in your name and how to set it all up and how to make it dormant, all right? And if you can't manage it, if you send me a message via YouTube or Facebook, I'll go through it with you. If you haven't already watched and listened to DJ T's recent speech, well worth a hearing. Where we go one, we go all, walking with God, one wondrous God Almighty. Amen, Kenneth. God Almighty is the King. New hard times. Yes, Harold Chapman. It's coming for everyone. Even my kids are going to be feeling it. My kids that have probably not taken too much notice of me the last 10 years, my daughter's going to be feeling it. My son's going to be feeling it. I guarantee you they're going to be feeling it. The next 6 months, they're going to be maybe on the phone going, Dad, fuck's sake, we've got some trouble here. So, well, we've all laughed at me the last 10, 15 years, haven't we? What do you want me to do about it? I ain't got nothing. Makes you laugh, doesn't it? How we've all let this system shaft us. And it's all about control, guys. It's not about paying for road surfacing. It's not about paying for the bin men. It's about control. You get these little letters in the post. Oh, I've got to pay everyone you speak to in this country. Oh, where you go? I'm just off to the post office, pay me council tax. I'm just going to pay me this. It's not yours in the first place. It's a dead, lifeless entity. That's who owns the debt. And who owns the debt is who created the dead, lifeless entity. That's the Crown. That's the UK corporation. They're the ones that own the legal title, not you. They're the ones that own the title to your house. They're the ones that own the title to your car. They're the ones that own the title to your children. But most won't accept these truths. They're just not interested. We're not listening. Well, that's fine. No problem. Don't listen. The time's coming where you're going to have no choice but to listen. And that's where I'm at with all this now. There's no choice. Many people are going to have no choice but to be sitting there. Who's DLT? Not Dave Lee Travis. Donald J. Trump. I think he's talking about DLT. Donald Donald J. Trump, I think. DJ. Purify of soul can't be lost without consent. Amen. Well, you know the Bible is my most favourite book in the whole wide world. I read it all the time. Psalms, Galatians, Revelation. I'm always reading that scripture because the more I read it, the more I see this all playing out. For none shall buy nor sell lest they receive the mark. And people seem to think that it's some physical chip, but it's not. The mark in the hand and the mark in the head is the ability to control your hand. That's the mark of the beast, and your thoughts is control of the mind. So here's where you get the mark in your mind. That's control of your mind. That's the dark side, and control of your hand. That's the dark side. It's all about whatever trouble you've ever got in your life, you've done yourself because you signed for it. Don't go up to a celebrity. You don't go up to Keith Lemon and say, "Hey, Keithy, can I have your signature?" He's going to say, "What's the matter with you, dickhead? I only do autographs." Sign in nature. That's what signature means. 13:17 Revelation. You ain't kidding. For none shall buy nor sell lest they receive the mark. And it might be coming. Might already be here. Who knows? Anyway, peeps, listen. Get out, sort yourselves out. Get yourself your own limited companies on the go today. Remember the case law. Bob White versus the Queen. You can find it online. Now the police need lawful excuse to come across your threshold. If they don't, they're common fucking criminals. I'll see you all soon. Love to every single one of you. And to every single one of you patriots that stand up, that won't tolerate this nonsense. I salute you.